हाँ तो फ्रेंड्स, आज की क्लास स्टार्ट की जाए। आज जो हम चैप्टर पढ़ने के लिए जा रहे हैं वो बायोलॉजी का सेल चैप्टर है। तो फर्स्ट वी आर गोइंग टू स्टार्ट द फर्स्ट चैप्टर ऑफ बायोलॉजी एंड फ्रॉम मेनी डेज I am getting constant WhatsApp messages where my students are saying, sir, please teach us biology because this is equally an important subject and we just don't want to lose any marks in this subject too. So today I am going to focus on biology's first chapter, that is the cell. What is this cell? Cell, first, have you ever seen the structure of an onion? This is an onion. And if we will peel one part of this onion, एक onion लेकर के आना, I just show you that if one part of the onion is peeled off, I'm just going to show you. This is it. This is an onion. I am removing its outer part. And taking out one peel. Like this. This is a part of onion I have taken out, and I am removing its one surface. Its outer surface I am removing from my hand. Although this is not very much difficult to take out one small piece like this. This is it. One small piece like a filter at the topmost part, you can see. Then when you will put it in the microscope, there are three different lenses and one big part here on the eye side. You will watch here. You can place a slide and put that peeled off part over here. When you will watch and focus on this part, you will see some structures like this, hexagonal structures. They may be of the regular shapes or they may be of irregular shapes. All the hexagonal structures, this single unit is known as a cell. But this is an outer structure of the cell. Every cell is dead here, whatever I am given a structural surface to you. This is a dead structure. Now, if I will make a nucleus in every cell, then this cell will be an active cell. This is a cell structure. In this cell structure, you can easily watch that this is a single cell. In biology, these single cells are categorized in two parts. What are those two parts? One part is called prokaryotic cell. Prokaryotic cell, and other part is called eukaryotic cell. Now, what is this prokaryotic and eukaryotic cell? I am dividing this prokaryotic cell in two parts. Prokaryon, eukaryotic. Okay. Pro means primitive. Carrion means nucleus. I made a nucleus in every cell. This is a single unit cell, and I have made nucleus in every cell. This nucleus is known as carrion. Carrion. As this is the primitive carrion, this is called prokaryotic cell. And this is the new carrion, this is called eukaryotic cell. What is the prokaryon? Carrion means nucleus, pro means primitive structure. What is that primitive structure? In the old time, this is known as the nuclear membrane is not seen in it. If the nuclear membrane is not seen, then this is called the pro. Means the material inside the nucleus is open to the cell plasm or cytoplasm. But in the eukaryotic cell, there is a proper bounded organelle. This nucleus is properly bounded organelle. Therefore, this is known as the eukaryotic cell. So, students, we came to know about the cell, that cells are having the two types. They are prokaryotic cell and the eukaryotic cell. And prokaryotic cells are not having the clear demarcated nuclear structure, whereas the eukaryotic cell has a clearly demarcated nucleus structure and they are clearly visible. Although they are just embedded in the nucleus cell cytoplasm with the help of their outer membrane, but in the prokaryotic cell, outer membrane is not yet seen. In example of the prokaryotic cell, maybe few of the bacteria and few of the other algae or spirogyras or platyhelminthes and different type of the nematodes we can see. But nowadays, every cell, like our body structure, is having the outermost cell, which is known as the epidermis, and this epidermis is also a cell. Inside this epidermis is an endodermis, and all these cells are eukaryotic cells. Whether it is a nerve cell, whether it is a bone cell, whether it is a brain cell or eye cell, everywhere the cell is the eukaryotic cell. There, the proper nucleus, nucleoplasm, DNA, RNA is clearly seen. But in the prokaryotic cell, this is not possible. Now, what happens? You have seen that the cells, how this cell is it. The first time, the scientist Robert Hooke has seen this cell in the cork. In the bottle cork, there are minute, tiny structures. Suppose this is a bottle. This is a bottle head, and this is a bottle. In this bottle, there is a cork. When we take out this cork is a structure like this, and it is having a different shapes inside of this. When we will watch it in our microscope, then we will see the small structure of the cell. So Robert Hooke gave the first time the name as a cell by seeing that cork through the microscope. Now, there are many other algae also, which are belonging the same chlamydomonas structure or other monas structures and different type of these things. In Spirogyra algae and Eulothrix algae, all different type of the algae we can see. Now, this cell has outer, this is a cell. I am taking this cell as a structure. This is a cell. And this line, which I have made outside of this structure, it a continuous, showing you the continuous form of this cell. This is a single cell. In this single cell, this membrane is called as the plasma membrane. Plasma membrane. This plasma membrane plays a very important role. Alone in this plasma membrane, I can define you so much deeply that you will be surprised to know how important and how vast behavior this plasma membrane bears within it. What this plasma membrane works on? This plasma membrane is very much important for the cell. First of all, it is giving a kind of shape to this cell. It means inside of this plasma membrane is a cell sap or cytoplasm. This cell sap or the liquid is enclosed in this structure. This liquid is bounded by this structure, and this structure is flexible in nature. Sometimes this will shrink, sometimes it will explode like this. So this is known as the plasma membrane. The outermost covering of the cell is known as the plasma membrane. This is also called the cell membrane or cell membrane. This is called the plasma membrane, or we can say it's the cell membrane. And thus, what happens in the outermost covering of the cell and separate the content of the cell from its external environment. This is the cell's internal environment, i.e. this is external environment, EE. So this cell membrane separates internal environment of the cell from the external environment of the cell. Got it? And also separates some of the materials to move inside. They will remain outside. And therefore, suppose this is a small particle, this is a bigger particle, this will not go inside, this will go inside. And this will go inside here and will reach here. But this cell membrane or the plasma membrane will not permit this much particle to go inside. It means it is now selecting which of the part should go inside and which of the part should not go inside. Like nowadays, today is 7th of May and the third lockdown has started. In lockdown period, you have closed the doors of your home and only your family members can come inside and no external persons is allowed to come. It means your gate of your house is filtering a particular one and deciding which person has to come inside and which not. So your gate is working like a selective permeable membrane. Selectively permeable membrane means he is selecting which person has to come inside and which has to not. Likewise, this cell membrane of the plasma membrane selects which of the particles should go inside and which not. Therefore, this is called selectively permeable. What is called? Selectively permeable. This is selectively permeable membrane, plasma membrane. It selects which of the part should go inside or which particle should have to go inside and which not. Suppose if the part is gas, which has to go inside. If the part is gas, like carbon dioxide, oxygen, carbon monoxide, like this. If the particle which it is permitting to go inside is gas, then this is called as the diffusion. Inside, then this is diffusion. And if this part is not the gas, it is a liquid, then this is called the osmosis. Selectively permeable. The phenomena of those selectively permeable, the phenomena which is a part of this outer membrane, plasma membrane, is called diffusion and osmosis. With the help of these two scientific words, diffusion and osmosis, It decides which has to go inside and which not. Now, friends, this plasma membrane, how the movement of the substance takes place into the cell, how the substances move out of the cell. Some of the substances, like we have seen the carbon dioxide or the oxygen, can move across the cell membrane, and by a process called the diffusion. Got it? They go inside and outside, they come outside. This is called the diffusion, movement of the other material. The cell membrane, therefore, is, the selectively permeable. And cell membrane process, I just told you that this is a kind of a diffusion through which these gaseous particles goes in and comes out. And we have studied the processes of diffusion in earlier chapters in class 8 also. We have that there are the spontaneous movement of the substances from a region of the higher concentration to the region where the concentration is low. And something very similar to this happens in the cell when, for example, some of the substances like carbon dioxide, which is the cellular waste, and to be the excreted out of the cell and accumulated in the high concentration inside the cell. It is the cell which decides which has to be inside and which has not to be inside. Suppose this is a cell and the CO2 concentration is being shown over here by cross. This is the concentration of CO2 outside the cell. This much concentration is here. And this is the concentration of CO2 inside the cell. Got it? This is a high concentration. So, number of crosses are more in the external environment in comparison with the internal environment of the cell. So, this is the high concentration. High concentration. And here it is a low concentration. Now what happens? The substances move from higher concentration to the lower concentration. Means they will filter inside. They will go inside. This phenomena of the movement of the substance from their higher concentration to the lower concentration is called diffusion. This is called diffusion when it is a gas. Now, interesting fact about it is this. An interesting fact about it is this. Now see it clearly. These are your lungs. Okay? This is a pair of your lungs. Now what happens? When you breathe in, the oxygen fills O2 in your lungs. When you breathe in, oxygen fills in your lungs. The concentration of the oxygen level is higher in the lungs in comparison with the concentration of oxygen in the blood outside the lungs, because lungs is constant in touch with the blood. In the blood, what is there? High concentration of CO2 in the blood and high concentration of O2 in lungs. Higher concentration of O2 in lungs and higher concentration of CO2 in the blood vessels. Now what happens? I just told you, diffusion phenomena takes place in the cell membrane or plasma membrane. It means higher concentration, lower concentration, diffusion happens and CO2 moves inside the lungs. But this is high in concentration, I told you. Higher concentration CO2. Higher concentration CO2 means the CO2 is high in concentration in comparison with the lungs. High concentration of O2 means high concentration of oxygen level in comparison with the blood vessels. It means high concentration of CO2, then CO2 rushes into the lungs from the higher concentration to the lower concentration of CO2, and the O2 from its higher concentration in the lungs rushes into the blood vessel. In the blood vessel, the concentration level of O2 is less and the concentration level of the CO2 is more. So from the higher concentration of oxygen, yani from the lungs, it rushes into the blood vessels. And high concentration of CO2 from the blood vessels rushes into the lungs. This is called oxygen and CO2 exchange. Means CO2 goes inside the lungs and O2 goes inside the blood vessels. This is a movement. This is called exchange. They are exchanging. He is giving out the CO2 and it is giving out the oxygen. Now what happens? The concentration of oxygen inside the lungs increases. In this diagram, concentration of the oxygen CO2 increases. But now what you will say, concentration of the oxygen, carbon dioxide is increased inside the lungs in comparison with outside environment, means air. So CO2 will rushes out from our nostrils, the hose of our nose, that is called, those are called nostrils. So CO2 will rush out from our nostrils in the atmosphere. And again, when the CO2 goes out, the concentration of oxygen is also decreased in comparison with the atmosphere. So oxygen will go inside the lungs, and from here it will filter to the blood. And same phenomena continues throughout our life. So from the higher concentration to the lower concentration, the movement of the gaseous particle from the higher concentration to the lower concentration is called as the diffusion, because this is a gas. So cell membrane, the plasma membrane, works as a selectively permeable membrane, which allows only the few selective particles. If any of the particle like dust particle will go inside, it will not permit to, or it will not allow it to go inside the cell. Got it? It is a very simple phenomenon. So you have come to know about the diffusion process through which we exchanges the carbon dioxide and oxygen with the atmosphere. Now, osmosis, the same plasma membrane or the cell membrane, which is selectively permeable, helps the liquid particle to go inside and liquid particle to come outside. Same thing happens over here too. Means this is also the bidirectional movement or the exchanges of the liquid particle. The phenomena of this movement of the higher, from the higher concentration to the lower concentration, is called as the diffusion. In the case of the gases, it is now called the same thing we call as the osmosis in case of the liquid. This is in case of the liquids. Very important and day-to-day life work, and you will very soon come to know about it, that how it works here. Now, oh, it's too hot to wear it. Now, second thing, I'm just going to remove it. So, कैसा जा रहा है आप लोगों का? How you are enjoying these lockdown days? Hope few naughtiness, few distractions, many constructions, you are easily passing it out. Some of you may be enjoying the holidays. Some of you may be having this a torturous period because parents will be at home and they will not let you enjoy as you are enjoying during your school days. No matter, these too shall pass. A day will come when you will all be enjoying in the open sky without closing your face and let go all the face masks from your beautiful nose and mouth. Anyway, now I was saying about the diffusion and osmosis. This selectively permeable membrane has been given a new term, osmosis. Osmosis. What is this osmosis? The liquid particle will go inside and come outside. Again, from the higher concentration to the lower concentration. How does this happen? Have you ever seen about the kishmish and angur? What is this kishmish? This is it. A slink structure of grape. This is the kishmish. Okay, and this is a grape. ये एक अंगूर है, ये एक किशमिश है. What is it? Initially, it was also like this. ये भी बहुत खूबसूरत हुआ करता था अपने टाइम पे, किशमिश भी. और अब देखो इसकी क्या हालत हो गई है. कैसे हो गई ये हालत? आपने एक लिक्विड लिया एक जार के अंदर, एक और लिक्विड लिया इसके अंदर. इस लिक्विड के अंदर ये एक दोनों आपने जार्स में एक लिक्विड ले लिया. गॉट इट? इसको आपने कहा ए, इसको कहा आपने बी. इसके अंदर आपने सॉल्ट सॉल्यूशन लिया, सॉल्ट सॉल्यूशन. इसमें आपने क्या लिया? प्लेन वाटर या डिस्टिल्ड वाटर. डिस्टिल्ड वाटर, डिस्टिल्ड वाटर, डिस्टिल्ड पानी लिया. मतलब उसमें कोई सॉल्ट नहीं है किसी तरह का, इसके अंदर सॉल्ट है. जब आपने किशमिश को इसके अंदर डाल दिया, किशमिश को जब आपने इसमें डाला तो किशमिश के अंदर जो पानी था उसका कॉन्सेंट्रेशन ज्यादा है सॉल्ट वाटर में जो पानी है उसके कंपैरिजन में. सॉल्ट वाटर में क्या क्या था? केमिस्ट्री के चैप्टर में वी हैव केम टू नो अबाउट दिस इंपॉर्टेंट पार्ट. व्हाट इज कॉल्ड सॉल्ट? कॉमन सॉल्ट, दैट इज NaCl, सोडियम क्लोराइड, एंड वाटर इज H2O. In the pure water, there is no NaCl, only H2O. It means the concentration level of the hydrogen oxide, means water, is less in this A jar in comparison with the H2O. Salt is more in concentration form. This means this is some saturated solutions or super saturated solution. Super saturated solution. When you put a small piece of grape inside this highly concentrated NaCl or salt solution, the water from its higher concentration to the lower concentration rushes out from the grape. जब ग्रेप से पानी चला जाएगा तो ग्रेप will shrink like this and will convert into किशमिश. ये किशमिश बन जाएगा और आप इसको सुखा देंगे. Means kismis is nothing but a form of grape when water is gone out or is evaporated from it. When you put this grape into the water, pure water or healthy water or non-concentrated solution of the water, this kismis will swell up. It will absorb water now. Water from the higher concentration to the lower concentration goes. In here, water from the higher concentration to the lower concentration goes out. So the outer membrane of the kishmish of the grape will work as a selectively permeable membrane. Sometime you put your hand for 1 hour or 2 hours in a solution of water. What you will see, your hands get some swelling because that absorbs the water from it. So you will see all the time those who are swimmer, they will in the very beginning they will feel they are having the tight body skin because skin absorbs water and swells. So the same thing happens over here too, and this is a better phenomena to understand the diffusion and osmosis. Diffusion for the gases and osmosis for the water. So this plasma membrane or the cell membrane, which is called the selectively permeable membrane, has shown you few of the examples. For this is a solution with the higher concentration of the salt, which is called the supersaturated solution, and this is unsaturated solution because this super means more saturation of the NaCl particles. These are having the very less saturated solution. This is called supersaturated solution. This is unsaturated solution. A saturated solution is that solution where the number of the those particles of salt and water are in balanced form. They are saturated on this solution. So you will easily understand what this type of the phenomena we have seen. Now, friends, what happens? What is cell made up of? The structural organelle of the cell. This cell we have seen there's a special component called the organelles. How is a cell organized? The cell are, if we study a cell structure under the electron microscope of a normal microscope, we would come to across the many features in almost all type of the features we can say, and those features are now there's a movement of the water across the plasma membrane also affected by the amount of the substances dissolved in the water. The osmosis is just the passage of the water from a region of the higher concentration. On the following, there are the three things that happens. The medium, the surrounding, the cell has a higher water concentration than the membrane, means that the outer solution is very dilute. If water concentration outside is more and inside is less, this is called dilute, and this is called concentrated solution, like this. So we have came to know about it very briefly. Now, what happens? The cell wall. About this cell wall, here I was telling about the cell organelle. Whatever part inside this cell are found, whatever it is, whatever structures are there inside this cell, they are called as the cell organelles. But before going to those cell organelles, we have to understand about the different type of the natures of this cell membrane. This cell membrane, which is also called the plasma membrane or selectively permeable membrane, which is it, this is also called the cell wall. The plant cell, in addition to the plasma membrane, have another rigid outer covering that is called the cell wall. This was the cell membrane. Sometimes it has a rigid outer covering. This rigid outer covering is called as the cell wall. Have you ever seen the trees standing outside your home, having the thick structure outside? And that's what is called the cell wall. That is the cell wall. When a living plant or cell loses water through the osmosis, there is shrinkage or the concentration of the center content of the cell away from the cell wall. The phenomena is known as the plasmolysis. This is when the small grape lose its water and convert into the kismis. This is called the plasmolysis. Plasmo means plasma membrane has given everything out, so this is plasmolysis. And when it absorbs water, it is deplasmolysis. Okay, now this is the phenomena and performing the phenomena of the, this is called the plasmolysis. We can observe this phenomena by performing a few of the activities, but this is not a part of us this time. So I was saying about the cell organelles. There are many cell organelles which we will study time to time. The most important cell organelle which we will start today is called as the nucleus. What I was defining you just few minutes before, that what is the nucleus, when I was defining the prokaryotic cell and eukaryotic cell, then I use this word nucleus. And a tiny or the minute structure which is rounded in shape is known as the nucleus. It encloses the genetic material of the cell also. It encloses RNAs, it includes DNAs. Nowadays you are listening about the coronavirus. Virus is a small tiny particle which is having only RNAs in it, not DNAs. Those RNAs is called as the ribonucleic acid. DNA is called deoxyribonucleic acid, means oxygen is removed from it. Similarly, when this is a cell, this is a single unit of a cell. It is having a circular part. This circular part is known as nucleus. Nucleus. This is called the nucleus. A nucleus, remember, the temporary mount of onion peel we prepared few moments before. We had put, if we put some iodine solution on that peel, what would we see if we tried observing the peel without putting the iodine in the solution? Tried, and what with the differences in the further we put in the iodine solution, the peel did. Each cell get even colored. Have you seen? According to their chemical compositions, the different regions of the cells get the color differently. Some regions appear darker and the other regions they appear lighter. We have observed the cell from an onion, and let us observe the cell from our own body. And what's that? And what's that? If the nucleus, we see different type of the bodies which the plant and the animals are having. The nucleus has a double layered covering called the nuclear membrane. The nuclear membrane has pores that allows transfer of the material from inside the nucleus to the outside and in the cytoplasm, which we talk in it. This nucleus, I have made a continuous structure, but this structure is not continuous, but it is broken at some parts. But this is not a single layer structure. Now I am enlarging it. Now watch it through microscope. This is a microscopic structure, and now this is a bigger structure. This is the outer structure, outer membrane of nucleus. This is double layer. Layer number 1, layer number 2. These are pores. Why these pores are meant for? These are meant for exchange of the material with the cell or cytoplasm. The material found in the cell is called as the cytoplasm, Plasm. And the material inside the nucleus is called nucleoplasm. Nucleoplasm. It is double layered, and inside the nucleus there is also a small body, circular in nature. This is called the nucleolus. Now, it is having also another name that is called karyon. I just told you in the starting time, prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells, the nucleus is also known as the karyon. Kryon. Karyon means nucleus. Okay. Inside the nucleus, there is also a small organelle which is circular in shape, that is called as the nucleolus. This is it. This is also the most important part of the cell. If there is no nucleolus, no nuclear membrane is there, no nucleus is there. If there is no nucleus, no existing cell can be found. This nucleus is responsible for the creation of a new cell. When this cell divides into 2 parts or 4 parts or 100 parts, then this nucleus is responsible for that. So we have seen that this nucleus is very much important part. Where it is seen? It is seen inside the cell. And this is called, as it is inside the cell, so this is called the cell structure. So nucleus is the most important cell structure or cell body, cell structure, struct, the most important MI part of the cell, that is the nucleus. साफ दिख रहा है? Now, where we are going now to understand it. The nucleus has a double layer covering, I told you, the nuclear membrane. And the nuclear membrane has pores allowed to transfer the material from inside the nucleus to the outside of it in the cytoplasm. And the nucleus contains the chromosomes, which are visible at the rod-shaped structures. Only when the cell is about to divide, chromosomes can contain the information of the inheritance of the features from the parents to the next generation in the form of the DNA, deoxynucleic acid membrane. And the chromosomes are composed of the DNA and proteins, DNA organelles of the cell. Now, I told you, when the cell is not dividing, then there a structure like this, like a net, is formed. This is a DNA structure. DNA. Do not argue. Means deoxynucleic acid. When the cell goes for division, this DNA breaks into small pieces like this. DNA, this DNA has broken into these pieces, and these pieces are known as chromosomes. Chromosomes, SOMES. This chromosome has very important feature. Its structure is like this: one bigger part, a circular part, one smaller part. One bigger part, one smaller part, connected with this. These are chromosomal structures. When you have seen a small child has both the features of their mother and father. This is mother's chromosome, this is father's chromosome. They unite together like this. This is a circular part. And this is coming from here. Got it? Where these are uniting together, this is called the crossing over. This cuts with this mates with it, called the crossing over. This cuts with this mates with it, and this mates with it. So the new structure forms like this. One from the mother and one from the father. And again in this chromosome, one from the mother, one from the father. So the features of both parents comes in the newborn child. So all these things are important. So friends, I have not to go in these particular points because my important part is this. So you have to come to know that inside this nucleus, there is a nucleolus, and a net-like structure is there, which is called as the DNA structures. And these DNA, during the course of the development or the division of the structures, and these DNA, during the course of the development or the division of the cell, convert into the chromosomes. Got it? And the chromosomal structure I have made, here it is like this, and the crossing over, chiasmata formation, and a new offspring is formed. Anyway, Now, the nucleus plays a central role in the cellular reproduction. The process by which a single cell divides and forms the two new cells is also plays a crucial part. Along with the environment, in determination of the ways the cell will develop and what form will exhibit maturity. And in some of the organisms, like the bacteria, the nuclear regions of the cell may be poorly defined due to the absence of this nuclear membrane. And it is not necessary because bacteria is a very primitive type of the cell. Primitive type of the cell means prokaryotic type of the cell. If prokaryotic type of cell is this, then nuclear membrane cannot exist over there. So this nuclear membrane will be open. So nucleolus will not be there. And this DNA structure, which is just like the network, will also be open with the cytoplasm of the cell membrane. So bacteria is the most primitive cell or single cell organelles which we have seen, and I have given it name the prokaryotic and the eukaryotic in the previous part of this chapter. That the prokaryotic means prokaryon, primitive type of the karyon means nucleus. Nucleus was not having the outer covering, nucleus not having the nucleolus, and the DNA structure inside the nucleus is open, and inside the cytoplasm it is seen prokaryote. But in the eukaryotic cell, what is there? There, the nuclear membrane is very particularly seen, a very good pores are seen, nucleus is over there, and this is bounded by this, or the DNA structure is bounded by the nuclear membrane. This is the eukaryotic cell. In the modern time period, we have seen every cell is a eukaryotic cell. Now, the cytoplasm, when we look at the temporary mounts of the onion peel, as we have the human cheek cells, if we take out one peel of the human cheek cells, we can see a larger region of each of the cell enclosed by the cell membrane. This region looks up the very little state. It is called as the cytoplasm. The cytoplasm in the fluid contains the many specialized cell organelles. Each of these cell organelles specifies the function of the cell. So in among those cell organelles, nucleus is there, endoplasmic reticulum is there, cytosomes are there, chromosomes are there, and lysosomes are there, which are the phagocytic property. Mitochondria, the most important part, is there. Golgi bodies, the most important part, will help the division of the cell, is there. Mitochondria, which is also called as the powerhouse of the cell, is also there. Powerhouse of that is a powerhouse that generates electricity. The electricity is found in the form of the ATP molecule. ATP means adenosine triphosphate, and ADP is the adenosine diphosphate. Adenosine, proteinaceous substance. Triphosphate means 3 phosphate particles are there. Adenosine diphosphate means 2 phosphate particles are there. When we utilize your energy from your cell, that ATP convert into the ADP. Number of the ATPs are well defined about, are going to define about your energy level of your body and your cell. If your cell all united together make a structure, that is called the human body. Or in the plants, that is onion, which I have just seen you before. Now, these cell organelles are enclosed by the membrane in the prokaryotes. I told you in the starting part of the prokaryote and the eukaryote. Now, one more cell organelles. There are many examples of the cell organelles. Every cell has a membrane around to keep its own content separate from the external environment. Larger or the complex cells, including the cells from the multicellular organisms, need a lot of chemical activities to support their complicated structures and the functions. To keep the activities of the different kinds separate from the cells, and these cells are used in the membranous bowels like the structure called as the organelles. Within themselves, there is one of the features of the eukaryotic cell that distinguish them from the prokaryotic cell. The some of the organelles are visible only with the electron microscope. And we have discussed about it too, nucleus in the starting part. Some of the important examples of the cell organelles which we will discuss now and are the endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi apparatus of Golgi bodies, lysosomes, mitochondria, plastids, and vacuoles. They are important because they carry out some of the very crucial functions of the cell. What are those crucial functions of the cell? Previously, endoplasmic reticulum. I have to remove it. First, I have studied about the nucleus, how it is important, what important part it plays in our cell's normal function. Now, the second organelle which we are going to study is endoplasmic reticulum. Reticulum means network. Endoplasmic means inside of the plasma. Inside of the plasma, reticulum, when you will prepare for your MBBS examinations, you will see study about, when you will prepare for your MBBS examination, you will study about different type of the leaves. Those leaves like people. This is a people leaves. This is it. ये people की पत्ती है, and it is having like this. All these veins of this leaf are like this. Have you ever noticed to keep a fresh people leaf in your home and leave it for 5 days or 10 days, when it will leave every green part of it in your home, and leave it for 5 days or 10 days, when it will leave every green part of it and only these veins are left behind. This is called the reticulum. This vention is called the reticulate vention in the leaf structure. This is called reticulum. It means the arrangement of a plant, dried plant. Suppose this is a tree and all the leaves are fallen down, and it is having a structure like this. And what this structure is, got it? This is a tree, a complicated tree structure I have made over here. This is also called the vention. The arrangement of the veins in a particular part of the cell is called the vention. So as this was the cell, and there was a structure like this. This was inside the plasma. So endo means inside, plasma means endoplasmic, and this is a vention like reticulum. This is called endoplasmic reticulum. I just told you this vention, this is called a vention of the plant cell, people ki patti, vention of the tree. This is biologically the term we use is vention. So inside the cell, endoplasmic, endo means inside, plasmic means plasma, vention means this structure, which is making it tighten it every time. This is endoplasmic reticulum. Reticulum means vention. Okay. So the name given it, the endoplasmic reticulum. बेटा पढ़ नहीं रहे हो तुम, हमें मालूम तुम क्या कर रहे हो, तो हम तुम्हें एक्स्ट्रा पढ़ाना पड़ेगा लगता है. Apart from this, now you will sit for 2 hours constantly and study mathematics, physics, chemistry, and biology, what I just taught. Understand? Don't forget. My constant visual eyes are over you. So the next organelle inside the cell is endoplasmic reticulum. So what we studied together today, that is first the cell, second the nucleus, cell membrane, and now we are going to study endoplasmic reticulum. Reticulum means a hodgepodge structure inside the plasma membrane, endoplasmic reticulum. The endoplasmic reticulum is a shorter name also ER, capital E, capital R, endoplasmic reticulum. Endoplasmic reticulum is a large network of the membrane-bound tubes and sheets. It looks like long tubules or the round or oblong bags or vesicles. Now, the endoplasmic membrane is the similar in structure to the plasma membrane. There are the two types of the endoplasmic reticulum. There is rough endoplasmic reticulum, means RER, and the smooth endoplasmic reticulum, SER. RER means rough endoplasmic reticulum looks like. What that looks like? If this is a surface, this is smooth endoplasmic reticulum, and this is rough endoplasmic reticulum. It means on its surface there are small round shaped structures are seen. These are ribosomes. But these small round shaped structures are seen. These are called the rough endoplasmic reticulum because this structure is, its surface is smooth because no round structures are found on it. This is called the smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Here the round structures are seen. These are the rough endoplasmic reticulum. So endoplasmic reticulum has the two parts. One is rough endoplasmic reticulum and one is the smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Now, the rough endoplasmic reticulum looks rough under the microscope because it has the particles called the ribosomes attached to its surface. The ribosomes, which are present in all active cells, are the site of the protein manufacture. Means body makes its own protein. But why you eat protein thereafter? Because some of the necessary protein for the development of human brain or the human body is not manufactured inside the human cell. We don't have those factories. So at that particular time, we have to consume dairy product like the milk, protein, dahi, curds, and different type of the other protein because our body cannot make that by itself. So these ribosomes are important for making the protein. So ribosomes are therefore called the site of protein synthesis. Site means place, or protein synthesis means for the making of the proteins. The protein, the manufacture of the proteins are then sent to the various places in the cell depending upon the need. Using this endoplasmic reticulum, the SER means smooth endoplasmic reticulum helps in the manufacturing of the fat molecules or the lipid molecules, which are important for the cell functions. Some of these proteins are lipid, help in the building the cell membrane. The process is known as the membrane biogenesis. Bio means biological, genesis means formation. So membrane formation means membrane biologically genesis, generation. So membrane biogenesis. Some other proteins and the lipid functions as the enzymes and the hormones, although the endoplasmic reticulum varies greatly in the appearance in the different cells. It always forms a network system. So this endoplasmic reticulum is found everywhere in the cell. This gives a strength, a kind of the chassis. So this gives strength to the cell. This endoplasmic reticulum has the smooth endoplasmic reticulum and the rough endoplasmic reticulum. This is the ribosomes over here. It helps in the protein synthesis. Protein, protein synthesis. What this makes? Lipid formation. Lipid or fat. formation, which is important for the human body functions also. So those persons which are fatty, they are having the more number of the SER in comparison with those who are thin, they are having the RER. If the person is having the more SERs, they will have extra fat but no power in their body. When you will push them all, they can fall down. But in the RER, the protein is synthesized, the body will be tough and rough. And if you will push that person, you can also get a reverse force Newton's third law of motion, which we studied yesterday. This endoplasmic reticulum is found everywhere in the cell cytoplasm, and it gives a kind of shape and strength to the cell. This gives shape, SHAPE, shape and strength to the cell. Oh my God, what I got here? Oh, I got the tagline for my website. You know what my website is? Targetexams.com. What is that? TARGET, Targetexams.com. What is this tagline? This tagline is here. Shape, it shapes and strengthens. It shape and strength. I got it. Shape tagline for my website. Shape and strength. Oh my God. So powerful tagline I got. Important, no? The protein synthesis. This gives shape and strength. What shape and strength? The endoplasmic reticulum gives shape and strength to the cell. Now this is 1 hour, 1 minute, 13 seconds completed, and I am tired also. I am standing on my one leg and I am teaching you constantly. You must slightly give a smooth, like a smooth endoplasmic reticulum, smooth look on me too. Okay, oh my God. I am not clearly visible. My face is not clearly visible today to you all, dears. So I have to finish it off for today. Enjoy a lot on this lockdown 3. Oh my God, thank you, sir. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, good evening, my dear. Whenever we go outside the afternoon, we have to say good evening and good night. Anyway, it's all was a very pleasant moment we spent together. A lot of you may be waiting to end this chapter today, and nicely it is finished. No light is gone. Thank you so much. Meet you tomorrow.